Never have we been on the precipice of destiny like today. Lay witness as two coaches teach two teams and attempt to lead them to victory.
Be the champion, Build-a-Thon. No one's gonna give it to you, so you gotta take it now. Champion, you know it's on. You know what you gotta do. Be the champion, Build-a-Thon. Flexware and Grantek, you know they're gonna bring it now. Champion, who will it be? Gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, we could use a vote. Vote for me and my team. But teaming up with Vertex for me has been a dream. Cause after last year's loss, I've been waiting and scheming. Only way you keepin' that belt is by cheating. Those new features, our resource be packing. We'll earn those votes, man, we'll win, yeah, it's happening. Cause when we done with you, you'll be asking why you couldn't build one simple next-gen HMI.
I know that last year's nothing more than history, but the outcome never really was a mystery. Out here repping the championship belt, reliving the moment, the feeling I felt. But now you're out here saying gonna rain on my parade, but watch your face as that smile starts to fade. Flex was gonna bring it, it's gonna be brutal. Believe me when I say resistance is futile.
Be the champion, Build-a-Thon. No one's gonna give it to you, so you gotta take it now. Champion, you know it's on. You know what you gotta do. Be the champion with the Build-a-Thon. Flexware and Grantek, you know they're gonna bring it now. Champion, who will it be? Gonna have to wait and see.
It's not over, men, yeah, it's just begun. Yes, we're all aware that last year Kevin won. Ego all blown up with his 5 seconds of fame, but watch a hammer drop as a victory I reclaim. It doesn't matter how many tires you slashed, doesn't matter that my headband's in the trash. Even with that belt, you'll take one on the chin, as I'm declared the winner once the votes are in.
Before the Build-a-Thon was a part of ICC, people still thought I was the best SC. And everybody knows the reality, that this competition's just a formality. And try as you might, at the end of the day, right behind me is where you're gonna stay. The Flexware team and I are #1, that's it, game over.
Hello everyone, welcome to the live stream of the 2024 Build-a-Thon Elimination Challenge. We are so excited to have you all here today. I'm your host, Kent Melville, the Director of Sales Engineering here at Inductive Automation. And I did want to mention that the competition is now live. Our integrators are competing, and we are here to walk you through the ups and the downs of this, the premier event in the world of competitive SCADA.
Hey everybody, I'm Travis Cox. I'm the Chief Technology Evangelist here at Inductive Automation, and I am so excited to see these amazing competitors show off their skills here today. You know, with the exciting Olympics that are happening here in Paris this year, some would say that this is the Olympics for SCADA that's going on today.
That's absolutely right, Travis. I'm Kevin McCluskey. I'm Chief Technology Architect here at Inductive Automation, and we're so happy to have you here joining us today. You know, people have already taken to the field, as Kent said. They're going full speed ahead right now, and what are they competing for? They're competing for not silver, not bronze, but this gold, this jacket right here to bring it home.
Yes, absolutely. And so we have 26 competitors this year, 26 integrators of our premier integrators. And as you can see, they are off to the races. So this is going to be the leaderboard. We're going to be referencing this as we go. Also, I believe in the chat that we are going to be putting a link to this leaderboard so that you can go ahead and follow along with a live stream of the leaderboard to see how your teams are faring. Now, with this, why are we doing this? Why are these 26 integrators taking time out of their day to come and compete? Well, this is an elimination event. So for the live Build-a-Thon at ICC, we can only have 2 competitors. How do we pick? This event. This event is where they come and they show that they have what it takes to really show up at ICC and to compete on that big stage. And so how do they win? they are going to be going through a series of challenges. And these challenges all take place in a fantasy world of our own creation that we lovingly call the Lands of Ignition. And so, as you can see up on the screen now, this is a map representing Ignition in all of its glory, all the different features that it contains. And so today, our competitors are going to be going and showing off their skills of various different parts of Ignition, starting with the different editions of Ignition there at the Tree of Editions. But you'll be following along, and we're also going to be helping you see what some of these challenges include. So we'll also be bringing in some of the developers of these challenges. And at the end of the day, there will be 2 teams that finished fastest. So that's how you win, is you complete these challenges the fastest, and those teams are going to be brought out to ICC this year in September.
You know, if we go back to the leaderboard for a second here, the first team to cross over for Challenge 1 was DMC, and you can see the second one was Gray Solutions. Last year, we had everyone going right up to the very end, and we had a big upset right at the last moment here where we had someone come, I think they were about 4th place, and they jumped all the way to the 1st place on that last challenge. Very intense, very exciting, and I'm looking forward to the exciting competition here too. You know, it's anybody's game at this point. The first challenge is relatively quick, and then it progresses up in terms of difficulty, right, Kent?
It does, absolutely.
Yeah, indeed. I've gone through these challenges. We know what's ahead of them. It's going to be a roller coaster. We're going to see the leaderboard change quite a bit as we go forward. So it's going to be an exciting day for sure.
Absolutely. And these really are the best of the best. So we're very excited to have these integrators with us. You may have noted on the leaderboard that each competitor has a little icon that's a little dragon icon. So as part of this story of them traversing the Lands of Ignition, they are taking along their dragon companion. And Travis and Kevin and I really wanted to get into the spirit of the competition as well. And so we are all repping our own dragon companions, as you can see here. Yeah, and there is a chat function inside the live stream today, and we would encourage you to please stay active. Tell us what you see there as we go through this competition. And the first thing that we'd like to ask is that you go in the chat and let us know, of these 3 dragons, who's got the best shirt. All right.
And it's also, I think we have a close-up of all the teams' dragons we could put on the screen so everybody could take a look. Here's all the amazing teams we have. They're dragons, and you're going to see those on that leaderboard as we go throughout the day.
Yeah, these competitors, it's worth noting that they've been preparing for a long time. If we could go back to their icons there, each one of these competitors have been putting in time. They've even been practicing for days or weeks or months, or for some folks, they've been working at this for years to really try to end up being one of those top 2 teams who can compete on stage during ICC. So it's impressive to see what some of that workout regimen has looked like as they've been preparing for the games.
Indeed. Dedication is the name of the game here, and it's not just the dedication of being here today and competing in the challenges for those 2 spots at ICC, but it's also the commitment these integrators have in getting their people certified, all the amazing projects they're building for their customers. What we get to witness today is all of their expertise coming to be on display here.
Yeah, it really is that expertise that they've built up over the years that comes to bear here. It's their practice for the Build-a-Thon and for this challenge right now leading up to the Build-a-Thon is all the integration work, all the customer projects, all the Python skills and database skills and Ignition expertise that they have. It all comes to bear right here.
Absolutely. And I did want to take a quick opportunity to do a shout out to our marketing team here at Inductive Automation, who went ahead and did a bunch of custom animations for this event. All of those dragon icons you see, they helped put together. There's also a lot of custom artwork that was put together. And a big shout out to our application engineering team, who are the ones who put together the actual challenges themselves. Now, guys, as we get into this, I can't help but think back that, this isn't our first event. This is not our first Build-a-Thon. It has been quite a journey to get us to this point. And so was curious if we could take a little bit to help our newer audience members maybe see how we got here. And I think to begin that, we have to go all the way back to 2018.
As a side note, I'm going to keep interrupting and updating. DMC is past Challenge 2 at this point, and it's on to Challenge 3. They are the top competitor as of right now, but it is still absolutely anybody's game. This is early days, and it's going to be exciting for the next 50 minutes, I'm guessing.
I think so.
Yeah.
Agreed, absolutely. And Kevin, never apologize for giving the people what they want. And they are here to not just listen to us wax eloquent, but they are here to see how this competition progresses.
Yeah, DMC was one of the competitors a few years ago. So I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Agreed, yeah.
Absolutely. So let's go back. Let's go back to the first one, right, where Build-a-Thon was created. You know, back in, then we wanted to have a different kind of event at ICC. We didn't want to just have a presentation where we had showed PowerPoint or did a demo. We wanted to show some live building on stage.
Hey, that's you and me up there.
I can't believe it. And we at that point, we had a brand new product coming out, and that was Perspective.
Yeah.
And we thought, you know what, Kevin? Let's get on stage, show everybody our chops. Let's try to compete in building a project in Perspective in a brand new alpha version, and see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. It went really well for you.
that year, I happened to win that year. It was difficult. It was difficult to build on something that was so new.
It was exciting too. I mean, being on stage, it's very, there's the palpitations, there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of excitement. And
Yep.
And, being on stage as part of that is something that is pretty special, right? And
Yeah.
it's special to the competitors who are going to be there this year, too. For us, I think it was really interesting in that I was sitting there, I was trying to get things to work. I misconfigured something, and then I showed it off at the end, and it was just a black screen.
Well, that's what happens when you do literally live building from scratch on stage. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun way to do something different at the conference. That year, Kevin and I competed, and I happened to win that year, but I know you wanted to the next year, and you wanted revenge, right? You
Yeah.
wanted to come back. So we did come back second year.
Yeah.
We did it again.
Sorry for the note there, or the little pause there. Our producers mentioned something that the exchange is down right now. So just to let you know, if you're trying to go over to the exchange, we're working on it, working on bringing that back up. But you're not going to be able to pop over to there right now.
And it's funny that you would mention that because, one, we just talked about how technical difficulties are, kind of a tradition for any type of live event, but certainly for the Build-a-Thon, you experienced those that first year. And then, ironically, the second year, as we went into 2019, we had said, we want to do some sort of announcement related to, the first year we had done the Build-a-Thon, we announced Ignition 8 and Perspective, and we're showing you development there. We wanted to keep announcements as part of the Build-a-Thon. And so the announcement for 2019 was none other than the exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, this is a question for our producers. Are we, one of these challenges, the second challenge requires the exchange. So it's a download of an exchange resource that ends up allowing folks to answer some questions. Do we have those going out? Are we sending those, emailing those out to the competitors? Okay, so that's what we're doing right now. So the exchange resources that are needed for Challenge 2 are coming out over email to the main points of contact from each one of the competitors here.
Nothing like a live event. So here we are, folks. We have done these challenges ourselves, and so we were seeing people get stuck on Challenge 2, and we thought, is it just that we're that great, or are these guys really struggling? But good to see it's not them. These are the best, and you can see many people have overcome those challenges and are moving right along. DMC still the team to beat. But what do you guys think of that? These are some awesome competitors we have here today.
Oh, the second place, third, fourth, fifth, those have all changed places here too. So Polaris in second, CSE Icon also in second. This is rated based on when they actually completed the challenge. So the third, the fourth, the fifth actually is accurate there, just based on the times for completing Challenge 1, Challenge 2, and those folks are on Challenge 3 right now. But yeah, these competitors. are all our premier integrators, and we work with all of them in a really significant way. And it's neat to see, in addition to DMC, who's an old hand here, Polaris, who was not one of the top teams last year, was not one of the top two. They're sitting right up there, right behind DMC, nipping at the heels. So, and yeah, a number of these are folks who haven't been part of the Build-a-Thon in the past. So, yeah, anybody's game at this point. Really exciting.
All right, so we talked about the first couple of years of the Build-a-Thon, right? Where Kevin, you and I just want to get up there and compete, show off perspective, show off the Ignition Exchange. The second year, you took the win because you built an amazing resource that's on the Exchange, which is the playback for the historian. That was an incredible feature. It definitely was the reason that you won, and it was amazing. So those 2 years, you know, we had 1-1, and we thought, I think we should just stop here, right? And we don't. Nobody wanted to actually to win the next one. We call it even. So we said, you know what? Let's get our integrators involved, and that's really what kicked off what we're seeing here today. Is that next year, we brought in our top 2 integrators, Flexware and Vertec, and had them show off their skills and build projects from scratch. And that really kicked off what we now see as this premier SCADA competition.
Yeah, it was a nice transition from an internal inductive automation SCADA competition from our own folks to really making it a community event that anybody can participate in. Any of our top premier integrators are able to be part of this right now, and you can see over a quarter of them are.
Quick update on what's going on with the Exchange. Just wanted to let everybody know that we did get some things settled, and that we anybody who was not able to access the Exchange, we went ahead and sent out answers to everybody so that they can move on. And so the answers are there. And also behind the scenes, we're adjusting times to make sure it's all fair. So the times for the challenge won't be considered for specifically challenge 2. But, you know, this is fun. This is the live event, you know, and I just also want to take a time to shout out. There's a lot more than the 3 of us that helped put together this event today. And so we've got our back-end people furiously working to solve any issues as they come up and making sure that this live stream is going smoothly. So shout out to all those people. We have a great team here at Inductive Automation.
We absolutely do, and we're going to invite some of them on, as you mentioned earlier, in a few minutes here. So, yeah, we you know, after we did that first, I think it was 2022, right? Or was it 2020? It was 2020 where we had Flexware.
21.
21, yeah, 21. Right, 2020, the world shut down. Who could forget, right? 2021, Flexware and Vertec going head-to-head. And then the following year, we started up these challenges. And we had 3 rounds, and those 3 rounds ended up having folks, the super challenges were included in there, and then folks ended up being, the top 2 teams there ended up competing in the Build-a-Thon that year. And that was DMC and Raceline. That's right. Yeah, Raceline. ROESLEIN. Yeah. So if you see it, you might think that it's Rosalind. It's Raceline.
Yeah, and that was an exciting year. And that was, you know, we got to see them build against, you know, something that a challenge we provide to them.
Yeah,
and we said, let's do that again. And so
yeah, we had the liquid
format.
tank. So if you were there, if you remember the Build-a-Thon, or if you go back, we actually have videos of all of these. And so if you go to our YouTube channel, you're going to be able to go back and watch it if you're interested. They competed and created mixtures and pumped different, you know, things from different vessels. Created their Love Potion #9. One of the teams did that was based on recipes. Basically, built out a full recipe management system. During the lead up to this. And there's pictures of it right there. So you can see the hardware that we have on the left-hand side there with the tanks and everything being pumped between there. And then on the right-hand side, you can see all of the competitors and the crowning ceremony and the winners at the end there.
And still incredible to remember back to how close that competition was.
Yeah.
Percentages were exactly the same. We had to get down to individual votes to determine a winner.
It was 3 votes.
I think so, yeah, 3 votes. And if we bring up that picture one more time, I did want to take an opportunity to highlight Opto 22. So we had gotten feedback that the Build-a-Thon was very focused on software, but to be a successful integrator, you don't just need software expertise with Ignition, but you need to really be able to do integration between hardware and software. And so we wanted this to feel more real world. While we're not a hardware company, we do partner with a great hardware company in Opto22. And we went to them with a pretty vague idea of wanting to have something cool to allow our competitors to interact with on stage. And they created this amazing water tank mixing environment. So very exciting to see that. And they were so popular that we continued on to the next year where Opto22 built another amazing creation for us. Before we talk about that, I did want to come back to the leaderboard, see how our teams are progressing. You can see.
I was about to take us back there if you didn't.
Take us there, Kevin. Tell us about what we see here.
Well, what we see is DMC really pulling ahead at this point. So DMC's been out in front here, but they're on to Challenge 6. They finished the first 5 challenges. We've got Polaris, CSE Icon, InflexionPoint that have all finished Challenge 3 and are on to Challenge 4. I think Challenge 5 is a little bit of a quicker challenge, so you might see them progress through Challenge 5 relatively quickly to get up to 6 as well. But we're starting to see some leaders emerge here. Northwind was right behind, and then there's Flexware, who we've mentioned are part of the initial Build-a-Thon, Vertec there as well. And then rounding out the top 9 here, Gray Solutions and Rovasys. And if we scroll down a little bit, you can see that everybody's making some good progress along the way. I think that almost everybody has at least finished the first few challenges here. And yeah, lots of room to run. We're elapsed time in the upper right. You can see that we're sitting at about 20 minutes. And I'm thinking that the first ones will cross the finish line, as I mentioned, at about an hour here. So we've got maybe 40 minutes left, and maybe even less if they go even faster than I'm thinking.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you know, as these teams are moving along at quite a clip, we want to make sure we get through all of our content here today. But the last year that we did want to talk about as part of the Build-a-Thon was none other than last year, where Opto22 put together this Galton board for us. And we had 2 great competitors. A little bit later on today, we're actually going to be having the winners from that year, Barry Waymiller Design Group, join us here on the live stream. So stay tuned for that. And huge shout out to Corso Systems, the other competitor that year that did a fantastic job. You know, we are fully expecting this year to be just as great. And, you know, I had mentioned earlier today that
Hey, no spoilers for what we're doing. It's a secret.
It's all a secret. Yes, we're not going to tell you about what 2024 Build-a-Thon looks like, but I can tell you a little bit more about what some of these challenges are going to be that our competitors are going through right now. In fact, Jim Bravo, we know that you had asked a question on YouTube. What are the challenges or tasks that the teams are competing in today? Well, we're going to tell you that right now. And as we said that the application engineering team here at Inductive Automation was key in building these challenges, we actually have the developer of Challenge 1, and we're going to have her join us right now. And so welcome, Christine Lee. So great to have you. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing so good. You know, it's already having ups and downs in this competition, but we're sure that talking with you is going to be an up today. Can you tell us a little bit about Challenge 1 and what you built out for these competitors?
Sure. For Challenge 1, it tests the differences in the various editions of Ignition that we offer here at IA.
Awesome. And so how do you test that kind of a thing? How do you show people you know about the different editions of Ignition?
Well, I wanted to get the so we have a new form of documentation this year that came out, and the documentation team worked really hard to revamp it. And that's a good way to get more information on these different editions. And I wanted to showcase that in the form of like a trivia.
Well, that sounds incredible. Do you think we could get a little sneak peek here today?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, so it looks like we're seeing it on the screen. It has right up at the top, it has a question. It has different editions down below, too. You want to walk us through that?
Sure. The first question asks, only through marketplaces this edition thrives, where purchase power drives and archives. What am I?
And so we'll open up that question to our audience. You've got the chat there. Does that sound like Cloud Edition, Ignition Edge, or Ignition Maker Edition?
And we'll come back to it in just a minute because it's about a 30-second to the live stream, right? So we'll see what people respond with there.
Absolutely. And so very interested to see what people come up with. As such, we'll go see what their answers are in a second, but I believe there's more than one question. Is that right, Christine? Could we see maybe a second question as well?
Sure. The second question is, let me see if that pulls up on the screen. The second question is, a lean and lightweight design, I am, no contrition, ignition's essence distilled in streamlined rendition. What am I?
Once again, people can choose between Cloud, Edge, and Maker. And we did see that some people are responding online, and the answer to the first question was indeed Cloud Edition.
Oh, we've got a lot of Edge. Edge, definitely. Edge for 2.
Yes, Edge for 2. So yes, they got the second one correct.
Jumping forward to the next one, okay.
We got a smart community out there. You guys know your stuff. Well done. Well, that is very fun. We don't want to give away too many answers to this challenge because we are going to be releasing the opportunity for all of our community members who apparently know so much to go through these same challenges on their own. So we'll be releasing this to the public so you could see if you have what it takes to compete for a chance at the live Build-a-Thon event. But Christine, I believe we are going to be bringing you back a little bit later to talk about Challenge 3. But any last thoughts for us or for our competitors today before we let you go for now?
Good luck, have fun. We had so much fun developing it, so I hope you guys all have fun doing it. So I'll be back.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Christine.
Thanks, Christine.
All right,
Bye,
Ken.
everyone.
Thanks. All right, we're going to check in with the leaderboard again because some amazing developments have just been happening. You see that gap? That is significant.
All right, and we are getting an announcement right now from our group that we are, as we're modifying times live, what you're seeing there is going to be modified slightly. And so so the leaderboard itself, we're going to go ahead and pull that. You're going to be getting updates from us directly because we want to make sure that we are being as fair as possible. And so we are updating those times to make sure that anybody doesn't get any special treatment just because they are able to get something from the exchange or not. So stay with us here at the live stream. We're going to be giving you all the highlights and updates as these teams progress.
And so we'll be hearing in from our producers as the time goes on to see who actually ends up finishing, pulling over that finish line here. The last update that we did have had DMC well out in front, and that was sitting with almost everybody following right behind in a really significant way. So we had everybody, all but I think we had 90% who basically at Challenge 4 there, and then Challenge 5, Challenge 6 from Polaris, and then Challenge 8 that DMC is on out with a healthy lead. So we'll see if they maintain that. We'll give you updates as this goes along as we hear in from our producers for the rest of the segment here.
Absolutely. But we do want to keep filling you in on what these challenges include. And so in just a minute, once we get him to join, we are going to be having Charles Ahrens from our application engineering team join to talk about Challenge 2. So I'll just wait for my producers to let me know that we've got him on the line. But Travis and Kevin, I'm just curious, as we experience technical difficulties, you guys have done not just live Build-a-Thon events, but so much of your careers have been live demos and live conferences that you've gone to. Is this a bit triggering for you? How are you reacting to this?
No, you know what? At the end of the day, with Ignition, it's all about being able to showcase its ability, see what you could do, and just run with the punches, right? And so we've never shied away from installing it and configuring it and doing live things, and whether it's with in front of customers or at ICC, of course, right? And so, you know, it's tough to be on that side, but you kind of have to just roll with the chaos, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it is fun. I've been following along on my laptop. The Exchange is back up for anybody who doesn't just need that for this challenge, but needs access to the Exchange to help you in any other future projects you have. And we're actually going to be talking about Challenge 2 a little bit right now. And so we're going to go ahead and invite Charles to join us. Charles, are you there?
Hey, everybody. Nice to be on.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Charles. Charles has been with Inductive Automation almost 2 years now as part of our application engineering team. And he gets to build all kinds of incredible stuff for us. But one is this second challenge. And so, Charles, can you tell us a little bit about what Challenge 2 includes?
Sure. Yeah, I wanted to highlight the Ignition Exchange and have the competitors go to the Exchange, search for a resource, download it, install it, and go through the documentation to solve some questions. Because there's a lot of resources that our team has made, that some of the competitors have made, and they're just members in the community and posted on the Ignition Exchange for anybody to use.
Yeah, and you know, the Exchange is something that is near and dear to our hearts because it's part of what makes the Ignition community so special, that it's not just us building cool stuff in Ignition and putting it up on a public repository for anybody to download, but then the public themselves going and making resources to share. And while some of these people by day may be competing for the same projects and things like that, they still take the opportunity to go and to share and think that the community is greater than any individual company. And that's really special to see.
Yeah, you know, we have over 400 resources in the Exchange now. I remember when we launched a few years ago at the Build-a-Thon, we had seeded it with maybe 20 resources, and we thought, oh, that'd be great if we get 100 resources in here over the next couple of years. It's just exploded. And we certainly maintain our own resources that are part of the Exchange, but the community resources are the lion's share of what's there. And the community has done an amazing job. I like to describe it to folks as the GitHub of inductive automation, right? It's open source, it's available, anybody can grab it, anybody can take resources and use them in their projects. And, you know, the sum of the parts is greater, you know, makes up, you know, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, right? If I could get the phrase right. But it makes up so many good things and so many good projects. It's been an exciting journey to be part of.
And we are absolutely 100% committed to building things, putting it on there from all of our teams that we have here in Inductive, but we're also just encouraging the community to continue to build and continue to put that innovation out there for others to take advantage of. Because today, the types of projects people are building are just so much bigger, so much more complex. And it's nice to have some just things you can pull from and start from, right?
Yeah.
And to make things more powerful, get other people's perspective. I think the Exchange is really an amazing resource, and I hope that everybody here gets to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's great.
And for those at home, I did see on the YouTube comments, a couple of you noted that you're new, maybe you're not familiar with the Exchange. You can go to our website, inductiveautomation.com/exchange, and you can go check it out yourselves. And so please do go and check out the different resources that are on there. But Charles, I think this was a great idea for you to highlight some of the resources on the Exchange and give it a little bit of a spotlight. And so how did you do that? How did you do a spotlight? Can you tell us about what the Exchange challenge here, Challenge 2, actually entailed?
So yeah, I wanted to highlight, and not to show any preference to some of the teams that are competing, I wanted to highlight a couple of the resources made by members of Inductive Automation. So the point of this challenge is you have to search for the perspective screenshot resource and the alarm analysis dashboard on the Ignition Exchange, download the specific version, install it on your local gateway, and then go through the documentation, go through the scripting, look through the views, and figure out the answers to each of these questions.
Well, that's very cool. You know, it's funny, as I went through this, I got stuck on the first one and appreciated that you had some nice form validation there that kept showing me that red X as I kept putting in the wrong perspective components. Was able to skip that and get through the rest of them. Yeah, we see that validation right there. You can see that red X that I experienced so personally in my own efforts. But, I thought this was a really cool challenge. Charles, we did want to ask you a quick question here. Can you give us a peek behind the curtain? We know the application engineering team is always building interesting resources for the Exchange. Is there anything that you're personally working on that we could be looking forward to?
Sure, yeah. Me and a few other people on the team are working on a collection of resources for what we're calling an industry pack that we're going to release soon. And we hope it's the first of many to come. And it'll be resources for specifically water industry that will be kind of like a starter kit.
That sounds amazing.
It does sound amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Charles, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great having you, and we are anxiously awaiting seeing that water industry pack. So, thanks for your time today. Any last words of advice for our competitors?
Good luck to all the competitors, and you can send hate mail for the Exchange being down to my email at automation.com.
Perfect. All right.
We know it wasn't your fault.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much, Charles. And so we'll wait for an update here from our producers on how the competition is progressing. We'll give you an update as soon as we get one.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can just get a snapshot of where things are at this moment. It's going to take a little bit of time for them to pull that data out, to take a look at the current snapshot and then be able to work back who's the leaders right now. So we'll have a bit of a delay here, but it's going to, that's what this thing is about. So we're excited to keep sharing with you the status as it goes along.
Yep, absolutely. But while we are waiting for them to pull all that data together, we are going to bring in another set of guests. As I alluded to earlier, we actually have the reigning champions. We have the winners from Barry Waymiller Design Group, the team that competed in last year's Build-a-Thon. And so they're going to get connected here in just a minute. And we're going to ask them a few questions about what it's like to participate in the Build-a-Thon. What are some of the highlights in both the Build-a-Thon Elimination Challenge that we're going through right now, but also for the live event. And I know for them, last year they had some ups and downs and their own technical difficulties they had to overcome at the live event.
I think it's the name of the game with Build-a-Thon, right? That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah. 'Cause nobody's ever experienced that implementing a project for a customer either, right? Everything goes smoothly the first time, right?
But everybody, it's fun in this community. Everybody's an innovator, right? Everybody is always thinking on their feet and figuring out new solutions and new problems. We're all problem solvers, and you're put in situations where you're forced to solve problems on the fly. That's what this is all about.
Absolutely. Yep. And these guys that we're about to bring on are the best of being innovators and getting the job done. And so we'd like to welcome these three guys from Barry Waymiller Design Group. Hey guys, how you doing today?
Hey. Doing good. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you as well. And so what we're going to do is we've got three of you today. I'm going to have you each introduce yourselves and tell us what your favorite thing about being part of the Build-a-Thon has been. And so Keith, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so my name is Keith Gamble. I'm a software engineering manager for Barry Waymiller Design Group out of Northern California. One of my favorite parts of the Build-a-Thon was actually one of our biggest problems we had during the Build-a-Thon. During the live challenge, we ran into some technical difficulties that forced us to have to, put our heads down, work on the fly, to be troubleshooting things in real time. I think the three of us really enjoy working in a high stress, tense environment. And so it was really fun to just get to, put my head down with my buddies and work on technical problems on the fly and get to push things to the end.
Awesome. Christian, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, so one of my favorite parts of the project, or at least the Build-a-Thon, was a lot of times when we go into different sites or different applications, we have no idea what we're walking into. And I felt like that was very similar. We had no idea what the application was going to be. And, we got to sit around and actually build a project for fun, which is something that you don't often get to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who didn't get to see last year's Build-a-Thon, Christian, can you tell us a little bit about what that challenge was that you guys had to tackle?
Yeah, so the main focus of last year's Build-a-Thon was building a project to control and gather data from a Galton board, which was provided by Opto22. That Galton board used different sensors and gates to not only control the paths, but also collect data such as the ball color and even the time between the gates. But the main focus of the competition was implementing these two modes, chaos mode and then a more generic mode. It was a little bit more open-ended. So chaos mode was built in a way that all of the gates were neutral, and so they would all fall in a bell curve distribution. But then you're able to kind of implement your own mode and have some fun with it and be a little bit more creative in the second mode.
Yeah, very cool. It was a fun competition, and I appreciated the summary. I think you remember it better than I do. It's all a blur, but yeah.
I think we have a picture of it here too, which is probably worth showing up on the screen just for a second. So you can see on stage there are each one of the different Galton boards, and right up at the top, is that golf there? Yes, that's golf. So whose idea was it on BWDG's side to pick the golf theme?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a joint kind of path we ended up on. Christian and I both love playing golf, and because the Galton board was dropping golf balls, we wanted something kind of golf related, but couldn't immediately think of maybe a golf skater type thing. So we're like, let's think outside of the box. We really enjoy using Ignition, like even outside of just SCADA things. It's just an application framework for putting together various kinds of applications. So we wanted to try to stretch and come up with something that most people wouldn't guess, and a video game was where we ended up with. So a golf video game was kind of the path that we went out on, and yeah, it was super exciting, enjoyable to get to make something a little non-standard for what you'd expect.
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought up golf. A big proponent of golf here at Inductive Automation is our very own Travis Cox. And Travis, I believe we're doing something related to golf at this year's ICC.
I mean, every single year from the beginning of ICC, I've asked, like, let's do a golf tournament. Yeah, that's at the same time ICC, and this year we're doing it. So on Friday, the day after the conference, we're going to do a golf scramble tournament at the Apple Mountain Golf Resort here. It's very close to our headquarters in Folsom. So go register online, check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Keith will be there. Keith, I just signed you up.
I definitely will be. I actually, I made sure I opened it right now. I was like, oh, wait, I haven't got my spot yet. Let me open this before it sells out real quick.
There you go. And, I couldn't help but notice, Keith, when you talked about which people on your team were golfers, Alex, you were specifically left out. But please introduce yourself and tell us what you like about the Build-a-Thon, Alex.
Yeah, my favorite part was actually when Keith left for about an hour on the second day. Christian and I, got our wheels turning, and we just thought, man, we could probably do something cool. We realized we could actually track the path of the ball. So we just abandoned the stuff that we were working on and just started working on that. Keith came back and he was like, all right, so we're done with the feature you guys were building. And we're like, no, but we did build something cool. And everybody in the room was really excited about it. Keith was skeptical, but I think it was a good plan. So I think that's what the competition's about. Just build something interesting with the tools that you have available.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is certainly a fun challenge. And you guys got to go all the way. Got to get to the competition at ICC. But let's step back into this elimination challenge. What is it like, during this? What are the competitors feeling right now, especially, as they're going through these different questions?
Yeah, so
yeah, it's definitely. You say your thing, Alex.
Oh, it's okay. It was really interesting because we had about 10 people on the call, and we were just kind of waiting for the challenges to drop, and there was like a bunch of racehorses just ready. So everybody had a copy of Ignition. We're just ready to get that download. It was really interesting to see how different people attack the problem. Some people would go look into script right away. Other people look at all the tags that got generated or some database backup. So it was really interesting to see how different people attack the problem from a different angle.
Yeah, very cool. I did want to real quickly give an update to everybody. We are kind of letting teams compete. We are going to keep giving you guys updates. Our media team is also sending out notifications, but at the end, we'll be announcing the winners, and so it's going to be a little up in the air as we go through this. So everybody, thank you for bearing with us as we go through this process. But
I did want to mention quickly, we can tell what challenges individuals are on. We can't really tell at this point, and probably until the very end, we won't be able to back out the piece from challenge 2, that amount of time there. But we can see that DMC is on challenge 10 right now out of 11. BIJC just ended up on challenge 9. They're on the second to highest challenge. Oh, and DMC just moved to challenge 11. So DMC is still doing an amazing job. BIJC, this is the first time that they've pulled ahead of other folks there. Once again, this is not with challenge 2 backed out there, so we don't know the final positions here or not, but it's worth mentioning that right on their heels, Flexware, Polaris, Vertec, CSE Icon, Wonderlic Malik, InflexionPoint, Northwind Technical Services, Grantek, Sage Group, Neomatrix, Cromarty, the integration group of Americas, Taiga, and Rovasys and MDI are all just nipping at the heels on Challenge 8 right here. So a lot of competition, a lot of folks spending some time on Challenge 8 before getting through to the very end here.
Yep. And so, you guys have been there. You know what this is like. It's stressful. It's exciting. But we're curious to get your final thoughts on, anything from this or any advice or recommendations for these competitors as they look forward now, to moving on from not just this challenge, but moving on to the actual live event. So, yeah, your final thoughts. Keith, we'll start with you.
The box and just make something for fun. We intentionally kind of went a little off to the side of what was expected and made a little bit of a show out of it, had fun on stage, and we really focused on just doing something that we would get passionate and excited about. And that was easily the best decision we made in the whole process. So don't be afraid to just have fun with it. Don't stress. Have a good time.
Awesome. Christian, on to you.
Yeah, I would echo a lot of what Keith said. Like Alex mentioned, whenever he left, we ended up doing something completely off the wall and totally random. So that really got us excited about it. And I think that if you take that approach, you'll end up having a lot of success.
Perfect. And Alex, saving the best for last. Take it away.
So 2 days is not a lot of time to build your apps, and you'll have no idea what you're building until you're in there. I think the competition is really about the pressure in that room and how your team responds to that. So we're looking forward to see what you guys build.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. And we're excited to have you at the live event where you guys will get to not just sport your own orange jackets, right? But you'll also be there at the event to hand off the new orange jackets to our next winners. So we'll be excited to see you there.
See you then.
All
Forward
right.
to it.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
All right. And so we do have a couple teams that are getting close to finishing. So we're very excited. Now, a couple teams were able to get to Challenge 2 and get started before the exchange went down. So as Kevin said, we're just kind of throwing out all of Challenge 2. So bear with us as we make sure it's fair and we calculate who the right winner should be.
And it's worth noting that DMC is one of those teams, so their numbers likely will change here as we get right to the end.
Absolutely. So they'll be the first to cross the finish line, but will they secure a spot to the live event? To be seen. All right. Well, as they are finishing up, we do have one last guest that we would like to bring on, which is to bring Christine back to really quickly talk about Challenge 3. And so we're going to be having her join us here momentarily. to show you one more of the challenges. We won't show you all of the challenges today because, like we said, shortly we will be releasing this whole competition's set of challenges for you to practice with at home and to see how you stack up. But Christine is here, and so welcome, Christine. Thanks for coming back.
You're welcome. Did you guys miss me?
We did, of course. And we're excited to hear about Challenge 3. What did that one include?
So Challenge 3 tests one of my favorite things about Ignition, which is the auditing piece.
Well, very cool. I think we can see that on screen here. How do you show off auditing in an interesting way? I'm curious.
So I did some simple actions in perspective, like moving tags in the browser, saving project, etc., to see how it would show on the audit log. And I wanted the challenge to have the aspect of like retracing, kind of Sherlock Holmes-esque, the actions users have made, and have the competitors answer questions according to what they find through the log.
You know, it's a pretty cool challenge. You know, and I think it's really cool to see you taking something like the audit log, kind of a fundamental but kind of behind the scenes piece of a lot of Ignition projects, and really bring it to the forefront through you know, this challenge today. But before you came to Inductive Automation, you did integration work. You've helped implement projects. Did that past experience help inspire this challenge?
Yes, I was part of a systems integrator. And yes, actually, that was one of the things that I thought of. The auditing portion is coming into the challenge development because I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I've used it many times to pinpoint user errors during commissioning or isolate actions that were leading to process errors, etc. So yeah, I just really wanted to really highlight this piece this year.
Well, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like I found it to be a really cool you know, challenge that I went through, and auditing is one of those things that it's a critical part of Ignition, and people have to sift through these logs to understand what the heck they mean. So all I got to say about this challenge is attention to detail, right?
Absolutely.
That is what matters here.
And this is
Yes.
this is another challenge where Kent here proved to not have great attention to detail at first. I got through, there's multiple parts to this, if I remember right, and it was smooth sailing for the first bit, but the last question threw me until I figured out the little trick that you put in there. That was tricky of you, Christine, but it was very fun, a fun challenge. And
Good to hear.
good. Speaking of fun challenges, we have a fun question to kind of wrap up this part with you. You know, you had introduced several characters as part of this. There was a monster, a farmer, a villager, and a, what am I missing? A mayor. Mayor. Of these characters, which one do you most identify with?
I would say I identify with the monster because I'm always hungry and I'm always snacking.
There you go. That's a great answer. Big fan of Cookie Monster myself from my childhood, so I identify with your response. That's great. But Christine, thank you so much for joining us again on this. It was great to see your challenges. And any last words for our competitors today?
Thank you for having me. And like I said before, we've had so much fun developing the challenges, and I hope you guys all had fun watching and going through the challenges.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christine. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining.
All right. We have had our first team finish all of the challenges. Congratulations to DMC. Once again, take all of this with a grain of salt because it's going to come down to the math, right?
Yep, that does not mean they've won. They've crossed the finish line. But I think that there's probably a difference of somewhere around 5 minutes there for Challenge 2. So as others cross the final finish line here, depending on where they were and what they did in Challenge 2, they may have gone very quickly through 3 through 11, and they may come in at a better time overall than DMC.
You gotta love a little intrigue in the games today. So exciting to see these teams competing, and we do have 4 teams that are in the second to last challenge that are right behind DMC. So we're excited to see how this all shakes up. And as we're waiting for these teams to fill in, I am being told that we actually have one more engineer who built out one of these challenges. I had said that was the last one, but we have another one for you here today. We want to tell you a little bit about Challenge 4. And that was also built by a member of our application engineering team. Mike Bordekoff is going to be joining us. And so we're really excited to hear from him. And real quick before he joins, if we could go to the Lands of Ignition map, I did want to show once again that, this is a really interesting progression, right? Where we started, at the tree of additions, right? And then they went on to learn about the exchange, and then they went on to learn about auditing and all these things, right? And as we go to Challenge 4, we'll see that it represents another piece of Ignition. And to talk about it today, we have Mike. And so, Mike, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
We can indeed. And so, Mike, tell us about Challenge 4. What is it, and what was the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, Challenge 4 is History Headlines, and we wanted to do a quick history check, and we decided what better way of doing it than a history book. So the whole challenge is a tome that questions you about different versions of Ignition and when certain features came out.
Awesome. And we can see the beautiful animation of your tome right there on screen. This is pretty cool. Did you build this all just within Ignition?
Yeah, this is all built in Ignition. There's really not much. I don't think there's even an advanced style sheet on this. This uses a view canvas, and it actually uses 2 of them that are set back to back because one of the biggest challenges I had while building it was the Z order of things, because when a page is on the right side of the book, it needs to be in the front. When it's in the left side, it needs to be in the bottom. So it's 2 view canvases back to back, essentially, but because they animate at the same time, it gives you an illusion that it's an actual single page flipping back and forth. And every single one of these pages is an embedded view with its own button.
And 2 sides. We were talking earlier.
Yep.
It actually has a front and a back of each one.
Correct. I only implemented the front side, but if you wanted to, you could put something in the back of every page and it would still function.
I got to say, it was really exciting to see the use of the template canvas component here, Mike, because that component, I mean, we originally put it into perspective, one of those minor releases, we put it in because we were helping to solve animation for theme parks so they can have cars go around track. And that the animation that's built into it is pretty incredible, right?
Yeah.
And he took full advantage of that.
Absolutely. If you find yourself in Central Florida or a couple of places in China, I think there's a decent chance that the roller coasters that you end up on are going to be run by Ignition.
Well, awesome. Well, Mike, we were looking at those animations. It looked like we've got different versions of Ignition on each of those. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of aspects of this challenge of how are they interacting with this tome? What are the types of questions that they have to answer as part of this?
So basically, I'm going to ask a question, when did a specific feature come out? And then we expect competitors either know or go look in documentation, find the version number, and then say the answer is 8.1.0. They have to click the button on that page. And if you get it wrong, the tome is going to shut on you, and you're going to have to go from the first page. You're not going to have to answer the previous questions again, but it's just a little penalty for getting it wrong.
Well, very cool. I love that you said if people know it off the top of their head, great, but they may have to go to the documentation. I know I tested this challenge, and I definitely had to go check out the documentation. Partially because we have a release train here at Inductive Automation. We are constantly putting out new versions that have all kinds of sweet bells and whistles for our customers. And, Mike, I know you use Ignition yourself to be building things every day. What does that mean for you as new versions come out? Are you watching the documentation to see what new features are coming, to see how you could use them in your projects?
Yep, I absolutely do. I try to, at least. Some of them are like really good quality of life improvement, and especially once you get into later releases. In beginning, it's a lot more like bug fixes, which I guess you could argue those are more important, but it's the quality of life improvements, like how you can view your code, you can collapse it, those kinds of things, really useful for engineers. Maybe the end users don't get to see them, but it makes my life a lot easier having those improvements.
Yeah.
So what we're really saying here is a plug to, if you don't know what page on our website, to go find out what new versions are coming out and keeping track of all the new features. We highly encourage you to go figure out that page and watch it, because it's, for me, I'm like a kid in a candy store every time a new version comes out. It's exciting to see what's there.
Yeah, you know, one of the features that I think a lot of people don't realize ended up midstream in Ignition 8.1 is that tag cross-reference tool, where it actually checks and maintains and monitors the reference count to different tags. So it basically, you pick a tag, you say, where is this used? And it's going to tell you not only where there are direct bindings to it, but where scripts have referenced it in the past and where you've got indirect bindings that have hit it over time. You turn on that reference counting, and then it keeps track of where all of those are coming from. So you can easily see inside your system if you're moving a tag, if you're getting rid of a tag, if you're wondering if things are being used anywhere inside the system. You know, maybe you've got a whole folder that you just want to get rid of. You can take a look at the tags in there and see if they're actually used anywhere, or if it's safe to get rid of or move around. So it was our #1 feature, right, Travis, on our ideas portal?
Yeah, people have been waiting for that for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's going to show, it's good test, because these integrators will see who knows that trick and where those pages are the fastest.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, Mike, is one kind of final question for you here. You know, you had mentioned watching out for those quality of life improvements. Can you give us an example of a quality of life improvement that has been released in Ignition recently that impacted you?
I really like the code improvements where you can collapse your functions. It really makes code a lot more readable and easier to work with, especially when you have like hundreds of lines of code. I can't say the version because it's the answer to one of my questions.
He's a little cagey with us today, but we'll take it. Yeah, I think that's a great example. So many people have taken not just the base functionality Ignition of what you can drag and drop from the standard components, but by being able to do Python scripting in Ignition, you can extend it to do all kinds of things. And I know you're quite fond of using some scripting to do some really advanced things. And I think on the Ignition Exchange, some people can see some resources that you have built that do highlight scripting to do some pretty cool stuff. So Mike Bordakoff, go look for his name on the Exchange. He's famous.
And hopefully, Mike, you could put this little resource you have within the animation on the Exchange. People can see how it's done.
Yeah.
If that's what the community wants.
So tell us, community, in the chat, feel free to go and say if you would like to see this kind of, book animation show up on the Exchange, an example that you could use for documentation or whatever else you can come up with. Please let us know.
If we get 5 likes, we'll put it up.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. All right. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. Any final words to our competitors today?
Good luck. Challenge doesn't count, so you still have a chance.
You still have a chance. You heard it here first, folks. All right. Well, thanks so much, Mike. Have a great day.
And I think it's worth mentioning very quickly that we just had BIJC cross the finish line as well, integrator out of the UK. And we have a number of people right on their tail as well. We have a couple others from the US. We have one from Australia, Sage Group. We've got Wonderlic, Malik, Flexware, Vertec, CSE Icon, Polaris, InflexionPoint, all right up there at the top. So we will get an answer here soon from our group in terms of how DMC's looking. They crossed about 10 minutes before BIJC. So I think that I don't want to call anything too early.
Yeah, what are you saying, Kevin?
Right. I'm just saying there's it's anybody's game. Let me put it that way. But things might be leaning in a certain direction here for at least that top spot. The top 2 are the ones, just as a reminder, that go on to the Build-a-Thon. So those top 2 spots are what you want as a competitor here.
Absolutely. And so we're going to keep this live stream going until we're sure mathematically that we have 2 people that are in those top 2 spots, and that all of the rest are mathematically eliminated. So stay with us. But as we're waiting for that deadline to hit, waiting to make sure that we have mathematically decided who these two winners are.
And we don't even have 3 who have crossed the finish line, so we're a ways away from that.
We
Kent.
do have a ways, but we did want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about what makes it special and what our commitment is to helping them become this great. Because these integrators that are competing today, they're all part of our Premier Integrator Program, which is our highest tier in our integrator program. If you want to learn about all of our tiers, you can go on our website and learn all about it. But these are the best of the best. But at Inductive Automation, we really are committed to empowering our integrators to be successful with Ignition. Now, we've done that in a couple different ways, but one is that Travis and Kevin actually have been working directly with Premier integrators for a while through a program that we've called Coffee with Kevin and Tea with Travis. Guys, can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Sure, yeah. Years ago, I decided to sit down with our sales team and grab coffee and say, hey, join me for Coffee with Kevin as I'm talking to you about all the things that, are some technical things that'll help you skill up and help you help customers better. And then we extended that out to the whole community. So we had Coffee with Kevin. Travis was gracious enough to join, and Tea with Travis. And we started this community education. Ask questions, just come roundtable, and we'll try to impart some knowledge and share some best practices and ideas and technical things that'll help people to be successful. That's where that started from, and we've now evolved, right?
We have now evolved, and we are excited to announce that we are going to be introducing something that is not just for our Premier integrators, but is something that we can help upskill all of our integrators. And so with no further ado, we'd like to introduce the Ignition Power Hour. Travis, can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, the idea is to take what Kevin and I were doing with the Coffee Kevin Tea with Travis, where we were really focused on how to apply Ignition, especially more advanced or complex ways, and go over going over tips and tricks and going over best practices, architecturally how to put more complex things together, and to even talk about how to apply, when new features come out, how do we use those? How are they going to be done, in an effective project? So it's to take all of that knowledge and be able to provide that to these integrators, and have these sessions where they can get that information, ask questions, and really help them upskill, and ultimately solve more challenges for their customers and have bigger projects out there.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that we had specifically Coffee with Kevin and Tea with Travis, and they were the ones delivering content for a long time. But just like our current political landscape, sometimes we have to let some people step down and let a new generation take the wheel.
Hey, what are you trying to say?
You're old, Kevin. That's what I'm saying here. No, but I think that what's really exciting about the Power Hour is that we're going to have Chris Fisher, our integrator program manager, helping host it, but he's going to be bringing in a bunch of experts from all over inductive automation, maybe even our community, to help deliver some really impactful content to you. And so we're going to find the best and brightest minds on all different kinds of topics, and we're going to make sure we deliver some really cool stuff to you. And the first Ignition Power Hour is actually going to be August 27th. You can register today following this QR code here, or going to ia.io, our website, /Power Hour. What are we going to be talking about at this one? That's a great question. We are going to be taking our public demo project that we have hosted at demo.ia.io or demo.inductiveautomation.com, and we're going to be showing you how it is constructed behind the scenes. We're going to be showing you some of the cool design and UI elements that we've implemented, some of the cool scripting that people like Mike have helped out with. We're going to be showing you some simulator backends of what the data is that drives that. We're going to show you some really cool CSS that we've done to add custom animations, all kinds of stuff. But really the goal is to show you things that our team have found useful in that project so that you can take them and use them in your projects. So please come join us for the Power Hour this August 27th.
And I'll mention it is open to all integrators. So we want everybody to be able to come in and get that expertise, get that information. So.
Perfect. All right. Well, we have had a third company now complete all the challenges. So shout out to Vertec. Great seeing you guys moving forward. We are still waiting for a mathematical calculation, so everybody stay with us. It's anybody's game. But I did want to take an opportunity now to highlight some of the questions that people have been asking in the chat. Sorry, there's a lot going on, so we haven't got to all of them as you asked them, but we did want to answer a few of those now. One is people have been talking about this new trial expiration notification, which is a new thing that we just released. I don't know, Travis and Kevin, if you guys have been following that at all, if you guys have any comments for the crowd. I believe in the designer, you can now see what's going on with trials expiring.
The idea is that in the gateway and the web page, we've had a banner that kind of shows the 2-hour trial period going down to 0. And when it goes 0, a lot of things stop, right? The PLC, polling stops, database connectivity, historian, all these things stop. You can press reset, you can try, you're going again. But the designer never times out. And so I could be in the designer, I could be building a project, and I could be in there for hours, right? And you may not realize the timer has expired on a server, and so you're hitting your head against the wall as to why something's not working.
Right.
Well, most likely it's that.
I've been there. You're designing, you got your values that are flowing in from a simulator or from a real PLC, and all of a sudden your values stop.
Yeah.
You're like, why are my values stopped? What's happening here, right? The things that I'm pulling from script, it's got the same value that it had when it should be ramping up. Now you can see that front and center. You see that the trial's expired there.
You get that notification, and we know to go reset the license, and we're okay.
Yep. And shout out quickly to Flexware, who has also crossed the finish line, finished all the challenges. Shout out to those guys. But as we're still doing all the math, stay with us here, folks. Another thing is Andrew asked me specifically, Kent, what is the coolest feature of 8.3 that you can let slip now? Ooh, I got some people watching me breathing over my neck, making sure we don't say anything wrong here right now. But I can say at ICC, we will be talking a lot about 8.3, our next major version. We're really excited to talk a lot about it in our technical keynote. In fact, I think we moved the technical keynote to be on the first day of the conference because
That's right.
Give the people what they want. They want to know about 8.3 right now. But one thing that we did talk about last year is we are working on moving everything to the file system that is your gateway configuration. So you remember in 8.0, we've removed project configuration from the internal database and put it in the file system so you can manage it with things like Git. My team, the application engineering team, they often use Git to manage their projects. And so we care a lot about the ability to do version control and ignition. And in 8.3, not only will you be able to do that with projects, you'll be able to do that with the entire gateway configuration, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, including tags too.
It's a big game changer, right? That particular, there's lots of game changing things in 8.3. You got to come to conference and see all of them. But that one in particular is going to help people, really do version management of their systems, track it, and be able to, when they go for like DevOps type stuff, they'll be able to approach it in a more meaningful way. It's been a struggle for a lot of people so far.
Yeah. We I'll mention one other 8.3 feature that we have mentioned a bit publicly in the past too, so it's not exactly super secret, but we have had requests for a long time for perspective drawing tools, and I am happy to let everybody know here definitively that those are coming out with 8.3. So I've seen the demo, the tech previews that our development team has created. It looks really good, so very excited to have that feature coming across the finish line. But given how many features are inside 8.3, that's to some folks that's front and center, and other folks that's kind of a footnote because there's so much that's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are very excited to talk more about 8.3 at the conference. Like we said, I see the questions about release dates and all the other questions about 8.3. Stay tuned. Come to the conference or attend the live stream. We're really excited to answer all those questions there.
We did have a fifth team actually cross over the finish line here too. So Wonderlick Malik, congratulations. Yeah, we are still waiting for our team to let us know if we have two winners at this point or not. So we'll find out shortly.
We will indeed.
Yeah, we don't yet. That team has just said they're still working on it, but we'll find out soon. Yeah.
You know, Kent, I did see a question there, and we didn't say it. Okay, I did see a question in there. We talk about, these guys are all, the top two are going to be competing at the conference. They're like, well, can we have any kind of idea what they're going to be, what challenge we're building? No, unfortunately, we're not going to say anything about the challenge itself, but I can say that our good friends at Opta22 are going to help us out again this year, and they're going to build something incredible that these teams are going to interface with. And you got to stay tuned to see what these two teams are going to be building, because guess what? The first morning, these two teams are going to come in. We're going to show them the panel and give them the instructions, and they have 2 days to build this project. To demo that live on stage on the last day of the conference. So I'm very excited. Can't wait for it. But that's all I can give you here today.
Yes, I'm sure everybody is very interested to see what that entails. And I will say that I got to go down and visit Opto22's headquarters in Temecula, California just this week. And I got to see some fun stuff that they're building. So it is going to be truly spectacular this year. There are some other questions. One question that we do see is people asking if there will be a new music video this year. Are we going to see more of the IA Department of Funk? Would it be the Build-a-Thon without it? I don't think so. So you can go ahead and infer from there what you can expect. But I will say that I may have seen Kevin last night with a guitar, and so things might be happening. But we do have one additional guest that we'd like to bring on. Because of that, we have with us here Ryan Senense. Ryan Senense is part of our operations team within sales engineering. And Ryan is the mastermind behind the dragon theme that we had as part of the challenges, and also writing the story that our people are going through as they go through the challenges today. And so we wanted to bring on Ryan to tell us a little bit about what the story is, and also to tell us kind of where he got the inspiration for that. And so Ryan, thanks so much for joining us.
And one thing that you haven't seen at home, but if you're competing in the Build-a-Thon, you would have seen, is that for each piece of the story, we also had voiceovers. So we had a whole voiceover cast, which were folks on our team who went through and actually presented the story to folks as they went through each one of the challenges. Before we jump over to you, Ryan, I wanted to say a quick congratulations to Sage Group from Australia, who just crossed over the finish line here too. So we've got 6 teams that are all in the running, and we'll see where that that lands. So Ryan, back over to you. Yeah, you want to tell us a little bit about the theme and share a few details there?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Kevin and Travis. As you mentioned, I wrote the Build-a-Thon story. The theme was dragons, and well, the inspiration came from I was able to help with the story last year as well. And for any of the competitors who were able to play, or for anyone who's able to take on the challenges later at home, you would know that the challenge, the story ends with you, instead of fighting a dragon, you kind of make friends with a dragon and fly off. And so this is a continuation a little bit in that same story where, instead of the dragon being an adversary, it's actually an ally. And I think it's a good allusion to how our incredible customers and our incredible integrators that we partner with and that we work with so closely find these challenges. But rather than see them necessarily as things to defeat, they see them as things to work on and to build. And so I think that kind of type of collaborative community, hopefully it was captured by the story, although I'm sure that in the actual heat of the challenge, some of that might have been lost. But that's kind of what we wanted to get across was, paying an homage to our wonderful community that we're happy that we are able to, work with and interact with every day.
I love that, Ryan. That's beautiful. And you know, I think it's interesting for those of you at home who haven't been going through these challenges. Essentially, what our competitors see is they see that map view, the Lands of Ignition. They click on the little icon, and it takes them to a screen where they see some beautiful artwork, and they see some text that is a story. And there's actually a voiceover that is reading them the story. And the voiceover, rather than paying for a voice actor to come in and do the story, we had different members of the sales engineering division record the voiceovers. And Ryan, rumor on the street is that perhaps you introduced some tongue twisters and some difficult text to read for our team. Is that true?
Yes, it is fortunately very true. I hope that for all of you watching at home, you're able to take a look at the Build-a-Thon challenges once they go public, but we managed to have it so the story is going to be almost fully rhyming all the way through. It was pretty important to me that we had a story that flowed quickly. I know that everyone was just raring to go and take on the challenges, so we just wanted to give them just kind of the bare minimum of what they needed to hear, but more just setting the tone and to create that good experience for them without detracting from, you know, the actual challenge itself. But that came a lot from some of the feedback we received last year, that a lot of the integrators had fun with the kind of fantasy theme Lands of Ignition. And so this one, we got to dive in a little bit more earnestly and tackle the story more collaboratively with the rest of the team and make sure that those challenges were built around the story and making sure that everything kind of flowed together.
You know, Ryan, I can't help but ask, with a theme of dragons, you know, there may be certain HBO shows that, you know, release in a similar time frame. One, did that inspire you at all? And two, are you a fan of the show?
You know, in addition to the Game of Thrones show / spinoff, I don't know if we're allowed to say it here on the live stream, but it actually
Well,
is
you
the
said
Year
it
of the
now.
Dragon for where it's actually the Year of the Dragon being 2024, and seeing as how last year, you know, we announced that with the Australian office, I think that it's important that we're able to acknowledge kind of the larger world just outside of the community that we've just been used to, and so I think that plays a big part of it as well. For me, I think I offered several options for the story actually on the development side, and we ended up with dragons. I think just because they are so iconic, they represent, in my opinion, not just power but also transformation and change. And you know, and also ignition. It kind of reminds me of like a fire-breathing dragon. But if you think about what you want to do for your community, and what we want to do here at our company, I think that it reflects pretty clearly as well, in the sense of transformation kind of being key and not really being satisfied with the status quo. I think that that reflects a lot with the integrators as well. I know I'm relatively new to the story. It was kind of my way to really get to know a lot of our competitors and to get to know a lot of the people involved with Ignition, but it's been a really positive experience. But as you mentioned, Ken, I did have to add in some tongue twisters just because I wanted to make sure that you know, my teammates didn't have it too easy when they were voice acting. I wanted them to pay some respect to the craft. They're all very talented engineers and administrators, but I wanted to see how they do in the creative realm. And I think that they did a wonderful job for anyone who's fortunate enough to see the public demo later.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ryan. I'm really glad we got to hear about the story. And I think the story, along with the challenges, is a big reason why people may go and try these challenges for themselves once we do release this to the public, because it really is a joy to listen to. So thanks for joining us. Any last comments from you, Ryan?
I just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody here on the live stream, and of course all of you for hosting. It's been so much fun writing the story and being able to contribute to this project. I know that we put a lot of love into it, and I know that our competitors are putting out a lot of love and sweat on their end in trying to compete it. But honestly, this is one of my favorite projects to work on, and I hope that for everyone taking the challenge at home that they had fun as well, and that hopefully it's going to be a valuable resource for them in the future, however they choose to use it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Ryan. We really appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. All right. Well, we do want to keep the updates coming for you. We are not going to be making a final call for a little bit. We're going to keep letting teams compete as the math is all being calculated. We're dotting our I's and crossing our T's, making sure everything is ship shape over here. But we do have some people that are still interested in seeing more of the challenges. And so as such, we've reached back out to Mike, who we had telling us a little bit about the Tomes of Ignition challenge. He actually built another one of the challenges as well, challenge 6, I believe. And so we'd like to welcome Mike back to the studio. So Mike, thanks for coming back.
Hello.
And I'm going to interrupt again, Kent.
Yes.
So we've had another couple of folks who actually crossed the finish line here as well. So we have Neo Matrix coming in and MDI, Multidimensional Integration, who have crossed the finish line too.
Yeah, congratulations to those folks. It's great to see so many amazing competitors get through all these challenges. It is no small feat. To tell us a little bit about how they did that, what were these challenges they were having to complete. Mike, can you tell us a little bit about what Challenge 6 was?
Absolutely. So Challenge 6 is Designer Dale, and this year we updated the style guide, which is when you publish something to Exchange Resource, these are the practices we want you to use, ideally, and Premier integrators are held to it a lot more strictly than other publishers. So if you don't know how to use it, don't worry, it's on the website itself. You can just find the PDF of it. So because this is so case sensitive, and like if you have a space or you don't have a space, we don't want to have just simple trivia where you click A, B, or C. We actually wanted people to type them out. So introducing is Penny Quill, and she's a magical quill that talks to you, and she doesn't let you talk to the unicorn until you get through her first. So basically you have to, she'll ask you questions about if you're making a view, you're making a project, making a property, and this is what you want it to be. How would you name that element? And I believe she has a few questions that you go through. If you succeed, she'll give you the passage. If not, she will get progressively mean to you, just because she's very particular about how things should be done.
You know, this one I found to be a lot of fun. And obviously the animation, what you can see on the screen here is incredible. But it points a light on something that's really important, ignition, right? And something that I've always been a big stickler on myself is just consistency, right? And how you want to format things, how you want things to be named, because it does make it better for the next person coming in when you follow some simple practices. And our guide is there, and you could see what it has to offer. So I thought it was a lot of fun and really pointed out something that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the guide that's referred to, if you go to the Exchange and you take a look at the best practices guide, there's a lot of guidance in terms of naming conventions, in terms of how you do naming for variables and functions inside scripts. There's naming conventions for things inside the Ignition Designer as well, view names, folder names, things like that really help people work from the same expectation for what a code base is going to look like. So if you see a name of something inside a script, you know, oh, that's going to be a variable or a script function, or oh, that's a class, just based on how it's structured.
Yeah, it was you know, the guide that we have is a guide. I mean, it doesn't have to be the only way you do it, but hopefully people are using that and developing their own strategies, developing their own formats for how they want that to work. But this challenge specifically was testing on our guide, on following that. So it was really fun.
Yeah, one of the nice features that we mentioned midstream added features a little while back. One of the nice features that we added a little while back was the ability to set up code comments for your different pieces of code and then have those automatically pop up inside the dynamic code completion, you know, a la the Microsoft IntelliSense, right? That style thing. Ours isn't Microsoft IntelliSense. That's a, you know, trademark name, but it's a dynamic code completion that you type in the script function and then you hit control space basically. And if it's one that you've documented, if it's one that we've documented, of course, it pops up with the documentation right there. But if it's one that you've created, if you put the documentation in just in code comments right above it, it will also give you that documentation in line. It'll show you the functions. It'll show you the different arguments that might be used for that. And whatever plain text that you put in there that you want to share as part of that documentation is all part of it. And that's, one of the things that was added midstream a little while back for our code editor as we continue to try to improve as much as we can.
And Mike, you're a developer with Ignition. You always perfectly comment all of your code, right?
Absolutely.
That's what we like to hear. Awesome. Challenge 6, it really was a fun one. For those of you at home who went to the website and you're looking for this, once again, you can go to the exchange at ia.io/exchange. You can also get there on our website. If you go to the home page of our website, there's a little 9-dot menu, and from there you can click on the exchange as well. But on the left-hand side at the bottom, you'll see Style Guide. It's kind of in that sidebar menu where you can change filters and stuff like that. And really is a great reference for anybody, integrators or end users, like anybody doing any development Ignition. Feel free to check that out. Do you have to take our word for it exactly of how you do all your styles? No, feel free to define your own styles as well for how you do it. But really, it's consistency that we really recommend. And so, Mike, thank you so much. Any last comments about Designer Dale or Penny Quill for us today?
I think we covered it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike. We really appreciate you joining us.
Hey, and Kent, we just had 7 teams cross over the finish line in the last 4 minutes. We have a confluence of folks moving through the rest of this year. We've got Cromarty, another integrator from Australia. We've got Polaris Automation, Northwinds Technical Services, Taiga, Grantek, CSE Icon, InflexionPoint, and Gray Solutions, who have all crossed the finish line here.
Yeah, it looks like about 2/3 of our competitors have been able to get through all the challenges now, which is truly amazing. All right, a couple other questions that have been asked. One is that when people are looking at the lands of Ignition, rumor on the street is they heard that Carl Gould was actually the original artist who drew up the lands of Ignition. Is that true? Hogwash?
No, that's true.
Yeah, I believe he actually did it on a tablet using Procreate or another application like that. He was able to go in, and it wasn't actually just for this competition. He was just trying to visualize Ignition.
It wasn't for this competition at all. Yeah, we didn't even, he just happened to share because he was sharing with the development team, and we got wind of it. Like, this is amazing.
It's a great way to kind of show the diversity of Ignition, all the different parts of it and how they all kind of fit together. And yeah, he made it for the development team to kind of understand all the parts and pieces, right, as they've been building out lots of teams that manage different parts of Ignition. And like once we saw it, we're like, oh, this is amazing. It has to be completely, public. We got to get this out there. So it's a great map for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so what's another fun thing is that this map we continue to update now. Just like we update our documentation with new releases, as we release new parts of Ignition, we have to keep updating this map as well. And so somebody asked, will we be seeing this map again in the future? Let us know if you'd like to. Should this be a staple now for the Build-a-Thon live stream every year? It very well could be. Please give us your comments. And then also, it'd be interesting to see between now and then with the release of 8.3, do the lands of Ignition keep expanding? Do we need to have some underwater volcanoes create some new land masses for us or something? We'll see. But all right. We are ready to go ahead and announce the winners now.
We're ready to announce the winners.
We are ready. We are very excited.
Kent has the secret communication over there. I don't. Travis doesn't. So we don't know what this looks like. This could be a big upset from the folks who crossed the finish line there.
It very well could. And guys, this is a momentous occasion. And as such, we're going to have to celebrate pretty hard for these guys. They went through a lot.
Agreed.
And so as such, we are excited to announce that our top 2 competitors today that will be moving on to the live event this year in September at our ICC conference are DMC and BIJC.
Woo!
Woohoo! Yeah. And yes, congratulations to those teams. Yeah, we're keeping the party going. Yeah, we're just going to make you wonder, how many of these do they have up their sleeves? Yes, it is exciting today.
About a 40-pack.
Yeah, exactly. Got to get our money's worth, so we're going to keep them coming. No, but
oh man, congratulations DMC, congratulations BIJC,
and DMC, they're back for some revenge now.
That's right.
Here we come.
Yeah.
Yes, a revenge story as they competed in a previous year. They were in the top 2, but did not take home the orange jackets, but maybe this year's the year.
That's right.
Yep, BIJC, this is not their first competition like this, but first time being part of a Build-a-Thon officially, and that's going to be really exciting coming all the way over from Australia. We were just over there and spent a little bit of time with the folks, and so yeah, it's going to be great to have them here too, competing head-to-head 3-on-3 again this year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we can't wait to see both these teams here, for sure.
Agreed. And don't leave quite yet. Keep bearing with us because we are going to be reaching out to DMC and BIJC to invite them to actually come and join us for the live stream so they can tell you a little bit about their experience going through the competition and what they're looking forward to for ICC this year. And I did want to show a quick highlight to this year's conference. We have a pretty cool theme this year, which is breakthrough to your next big idea. So we're really excited to have a great conference once again here in Folsom, California, and it's going to be in September. I believe the dates are September 17th through the 19th. If you have not signed up to get a ticket and come out, you still can at icc.inductiveautomation.com. Please go get your tickets. They do sell out every year, and so no time like today.
Yeah, we probably have.
I'm
guessing
over halfway.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We're well over halfway. I'm guessing we have another 2 or 3 weeks before it's sold out. So yeah, right away. Yeah, if you guys want to come, we're happy to host. It's always a bit of a party, but it's also lots of really good content. We try to jam-packed full of things that are valuable to engineers or valuable to folks who aren't engineers who are coming to understand more of the business side and the practical applications and the value that Ignition can bring to organizations. So regardless of what your position is, we'd love to have you join.
And if you're a golfer, register for the golf tournament on Friday as well.
Absolutely.
Yes. And also, if you're not able to actually come out to Folsom, we do live stream the event. You can buy a live stream ticket on the website as well. We want as many people to be able to participate as possible. So it is truly going to be a great conference this year. I wanted to take an opportunity to do a couple shout outs real quick. One, a big shout out once again to the people behind the scenes, navigating everything that's happened today, calculating our winners, so excited for those people. And also a big shout out to our marketing team for helping put together a live stream like this and doing all the camera switching, hiding little Easter eggs behind some of the cameras. You can see characters here, all these kind of fun things. But we really like to take the Build-a-Thon as an opportunity to let our hair down and, kind of show our personality here at Inductive Automation. But yeah, we're really excited. Like we said, we are going to be having our competitors come on from DMC and BIJC. But as we are getting them, we did want to hit a couple more of the questions that we were getting. And one of them was, if an integrator has an idea for a power hour talk, who do they contact? Any thoughts, guys?
I would definitely reach out to Chris Fisher. He's really kind of spearheading the power hours as he is the integrated program manager, and basically let him know what you're interested in. And we want to hear that feedback. We want that because we can shape the content. We can help make sure we cater it to things that you really need and get the right people on our end. I mean, we want these power hours to bring in lots of different people throughout the organization to come provide that expertise that you need going forward. So yeah, let Chris Fisher know for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't have contact directly with Chris Fisher, just reach out to your account rep or your sales engineer, and they can route the conversation in the right direction.
For sure.
Yep. I think another question that I saw in here is a fun question. Travis and Kevin and Kent, what would you each name your dragons? Maybe get some inspiration from your shirt, but creative question for you. Got an idea for a name?
I'd probably just go with Smog.
Ooh, a classic Tolkien reference. I love it.
A Benedict Cumberbatch reference.
Yeah, there you go. As sports telecasters here, we all dream of having a voice like Benedict Cumberbatch, but exactly alas. Right. Travis, how about you? Any thoughts on a dragon name?
I'm trying to be creative and kind of go outside the realm, but with certain shows, I kind of like the Vagar name.
Oh, there you go.
There's something to that, right?
There is. All these literary references. So, I'm going to have to go on the other side of the spectrum and say mine is probably Bob. Bob the Dragon. Strikes fear into the hearts and the ears of everyone who hears the name Bob the Dragon. So there you go. But,
sounds like somebody at the office.
Yeah, exactly. Bob the Dragon. All right. We do have a couple ignition-related questions. People asking about additional features they would love to see and things like that. Travis and Kevin, are you guys up for some ignition questions as we
I think
right.
one.
We get one. It looks like we are getting.
We've got some people on deck. Yeah.
All right. The one question is, are we ever going to get dark mode? People want the dark mode designer. What are your thoughts?
In the designer, are we going to get a dark mode directly in the designer? I think that it's possible with enough requests from the community, but it is not immediate. We've taken a look. The way that we do the designer, we have some toolkits that we basically use for the UI UX, and those are pretty extensive and they are only light. So doing a dark mode inside the designer would be a lot of work. Unfortunately, we'd love it if it was just a toggle and we could switch out to dark mode. That's not the case. So, anything's possible. If there's a will, there's a way. But we've gotten the request a handful of times, but I wouldn't say that it's more important than some of the things that we're doing with the historian, or that some of the things that we're doing with, 100 other things inside Ignition.
And to be clear, I want to make sure for those of you that you're talking about the rest of the design, the whole of designer, right? Not specifically just perspective. Those views, they will adhere to the theme. We're talking about the rest of the designer.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, any application you create inside perspective, super easy to make it dark mode. So any actual application, any actual project, yes, absolutely. Our demo has dark mode. It's super easy to switch back and forth. But specifically for the designer itself, that's much more of a stretch, unfortunately.
I guess the important thing here is go to the ideas page, ideas.inductiveautomation.com, vote those features up, and let us know, right, collectively, what are the things that we all want, and we'll make it happen.
Awesome. All right. Okay. Well, with no further ado, we do have our two winners today here in studio virtually. Welcome, DMC and BIJC. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Woo. Congratulations, both of you.
Sweating a little bit? You guys feeling okay?
Saw you wiping down your face a little earlier.
It was a very exciting evening for us. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's about.
It was a lot of fun.
That's great. It's about midnight over there. Is that right?
For BIJC, you guys are in the UK. Is that right?
20 to 11. It's just coming up to 11.
Was it worth staying up for?
Well, absolutely. We're here.
There you go. Awesome. And DMC, where are you coming from for us today?
I'm out of our Chicago office, but we have offices around the U.S. So we were across 4 different time zones, all in a big Zoom meeting. So it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, we're very interested in hearing about your experiences going through the challenges today. And so BIJC, we'll start with you guys. What were some of the highlights as you went through the challenges?
We really, really enjoyed the CSS challenge. That was super fun, doing all the transforms. I would say that's probably our favorite one.
I have to ask, because I personally went through that challenge. For those of you who haven't done the challenge, essentially you have this door and you keep trying to move the door so you can see the text behind it to be able to move on to the next challenge. And I was getting a little impatient with my own CSS skills, trying to get the door to move, and I started trying to cheat and inspect element and just go and modify the DOM behind the scenes. Curious if you guys tried to cheat yourselves through as well, or if you guys were purists and kept trying to get it right inside the UI.
We were total purists. No cheating here. No inspect element. We just kept going at it, and very pleased.
Perfect. Well, yeah, it's a great example of a fun challenge to get through. Now for DMC, interested from your perspective, what was the highlight for you going through the challenges today?
A highlight for us was we love the designer-based challenges that were in the web UI. I think it's just really fascinating, a lot of fun to have to code your way through an answer. I especially love the one where you had to rearrange the flex repeater, and then there was the Easter egg that pointed you to the wrong, like the 2023 version of the challenge. That definitely got us, and we got a good laugh out of it. So,
yep. And I love that as you hit save in the designer, it even prompts you and tells you, it looks like you're trying to solve last year's challenge, right?
Exactly.
The designers knew what they were doing when they built that one for you. But yeah, another great example of a challenge. And so, I believe that both of you have competed before. BIJC, had you competed in previous years in the Ignition Exchange Challenge? I believe you had. Is that true?
That's right. I think we entered in 2021. We got one of the top 3 for that one. Well, it's the Sensibo AC resource that's on there.
Oh, very cool. And so how did this year's challenges compare to past competitions?
Oh, you're talking about the Build-a-Thon.
Yeah, you mentioned.
I am, but I know last year BIGC you did actually compete, and I believe you guys got 5th place.
We came 5th.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. This year we obviously enjoyed it far more because we came higher up the charts.
There you go. Good answer. DMC, how about you? How's this compare?
I think 2 years ago we were at Build-a-Thon, which was a lot of fun. Our team had a blast there. Last year in the challenge we were doing well, but then fell right at the finish line and didn't make it. So it's good to be back and have better organization on our team. But it was a lot of fun. I think just each year the teams and the creative aspect of it it continues to impress us, and so they make it very interesting as well as challenging. So a lot of fun.
And Ken, I want to clarify one thing, which is the Ignition Exchange Challenge is also undergoing and happening.
That's right.
Which is a separate challenge open to anybody to go and publish a resource to the exchange that we will then review and we'll showcase the winners at the conference. And that's what BIJC was talking about that they did that as well one year and got to that top spot. So
absolutely. It's fun to have so much participation from our integrators in the random challenges that we put out to you guys, and also just in making sure that we deliver fun stuff to the community. So really wanted to say thank you for allocating some time, and also not just one individual to go through this, right, but for both of you to have teams together to go through this. And so DMC had mentioned how they had a group of people all virtual that were all competing. BIJC, I see several of you all in one room. Was it all just you in that room that were competing today?
We had a couple of guys on a Teams call watching us as well, and helping obviously, because unfortunately they did have COVID, so they couldn't be with us. But it's a team effort, and we're really pleased with everyone, and we're so looking forward to coming across to you guys at ICC and seeing what we can do.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. DMC, any advice for BIJC, being that you've been at the Build-a-Thon before and they haven't?
So 2 years ago, I personally was not at the Build-a-Thon, but our team was.
Right.
I think just like collaboration is key, and so our team working together to make sure that the different parts of the solution come together well. So I think that'd be my only advice.
That is so kind. I was expecting you to say, don't plan for it. Don't try to work together. Just work individually on your own things.
Yeah.
Try and miss the flight.
Yeah.
When the challenge actually comes out, I might send you some red herrings, but
There you go.
Don't worry, we'll have plenty of time for all of that.
Yep. And we are excited to work with each of your companies as we get ready for ICC, you know, and to learn a little bit more about your companies and help highlight you to our community so they know who these two companies are that are competing. But if we were to give you a quick, spot right now to just introduce yourselves to the community, can you tell us about your company, where you're located, who you are, anything else you want to share? Just because you're on my left and I read left to right, BIJC, we'll start with you.
Sure, we're a UK Premier Integrator. We're based in the southeast, about an hour away from London. We're relatively small, but we think we punch above our weight, and so we a number of verticals, but a lot of our stuff is data centers, food and beverage, textiles, and we love absolutely everything about it. It's just so fun.
Perfect, incredible. And DMC, over to you.
Yeah, our DMC, we started in Chicago, or we've kind of spread across the US since then. We have about 300 or so engineers across now 13 some offices. I think similar to BIJC, we are in a lot of different industries and verticals, and just depending on the location. Like in Texas, we have a lot of oil and gas. We have a lot of food and beverage and pharmaceutical here in Chicago. But yeah, we love Ignition, and I'm excited for ICC.
Awesome. Well, yeah, great to hear about both your companies. We know you've been using Ignition for a long time. Thank you so much for being part of the Ignition community. Once again, hats off to you guys for making it to be moving on out of this elimination challenge into the live event. But Travis and Kevin, any final questions for these guys before we wrap up?
I didn't have any final questions, but I had a final congratulations for both of you. I mean, this is a seminal moment for you guys at BIJC. This is the second time for DMC. This is your opportunity to come in and earn one of these things that we're wearing right now, right? One of the orange jackets. And we are really excited to have both of you able to come in and compete head to head. I think that the advice earlier was really good advice, going in, taking a look at it as a collaborative thing during the Build-a-Thon and the days leading up to the Build-a-Thon. Coming in maybe not with any expectations, but having some creativity, having your mind fresh and ready to go, and all ideas could be good ideas, and try to pick the best ones, work together, brainstorm. Sometimes going off in left field a little bit's not a bad thing, because it might actually win enough votes to move you over to the winners column there. So lots of fun times ahead of you. We're going to be with you every step of the way there too.
Yeah, I'll just say congratulations, both of you guys as well. And can't wait to have you guys out here at the conference, introduce the challenge to both of you, and see what amazing projects you're going to build. At this point, it's training time. Figure out who you're going to bring, and bring your A game, because it's going to be a fun one this year for sure.
Absolutely. And so to each of you, good luck. And in one sentence, what would be your final words to your competitor here now that you're going to see in a few months at ICC? BIJC, any thoughts of that final comment?
Well, we wish you all the luck possible, except for maybe just a little bit less than us.
Well said. And DMC?
Likewise, we're excited to meet you guys, and looking forward to a challenge. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for doing everything today, and also after all that stress, getting on and joining us for this live stream. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
All right. Well, it's that time. We're going to wrap up this live stream now, but we really are looking forward to ICC this year. We think it's going to be the best ICC yet. And there have been a lot of people that want to see not just who the top 2 finishers were, but they also want to be able to see the full leaderboard. They want to see how all the different teams did. We hear you. Like we said, we had to pull the leaderboard earlier, but we will be releasing something after the fact that will show you all how the different teams stacked up and what their times looked like once they've all been edited. So we hear you. Stay tuned. We will be releasing more information, but for today, we wanted to make sure that we finish the elimination challenge knowing who our next 2 competitors were going to be for the live event. And, you know, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us for this live stream. It's not your typical, you know, SCADA event, but in the world of Premier SCADA, you know, this is what you get to expect.
That's right. Yeah, the world of competitive SCADA, I've said it before, has never been the same since we started these build-a-thons. And, you know, it's great to be right at the forefront of that community and leading the way.
I mean, every challenge is a new challenge, right? So it's all about, you know, overcome the challenges is the epitome of being able to do that. And I'm telling you, this year ICC is going to be the best, not only with the conference, but this build-a-thon is going to be epic, I can tell.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you all so much for bearing with us for the last almost 2 hours. It's been fun, and we look forward to seeing you at ICC. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
5 seconds of fame, but watch a hammer drop as a victory I reclaim. It doesn't matter how many tires you slash, doesn't matter that my headband's in the trash. Even with that belt, you'll take one on the chin, as I'm declared the winner once the votes are in.
Before the Build-a-Thon was a part of ICC, people still thought I was the best SC. And everybody knows the reality, that this competition's just a formality. And try as you might, at the end of the day, right behind me is where you're gonna stay. The Flexware team and I are #1, that's it. Game over, drop the mic, you're done.
So you gotta take it now, champion. You know it's on. You know what you gotta do. Be that champion of the Build-a-Thon. Flexware and Grantek, you know they're gonna bring it now.